Yay, hi YouTube. How's it going today? Thank you so much for coming to my next live stream. I'm really excited to be here and to talk about this topic. I've been wanting to do it for a while, so thank you for joining me. Hi Heather, looking forward to the live. Hi Rich, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope everyone's doing well and that you are having a really good Saturday so far. Today, I've been talking about doing this video for like a month, I feel. I want to talk about the Amway founding families. So the DeVosses and the Van Andels. And then today I realized that they have a whole ass other group of families that they also call the founding families. So there's like two founding families within Amway, which is kind of weird, but I do get it. I do get like both of these groups of families had a really big role in starting the business and then growing it across North America. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic. It's not going to be as fun and like outrageous as yesterday's live stream, but I think it'll be informational and we'll learn a little bit about the faces behind Amway. So at 7 o'clock, there is a stream on the Clown Towns channel with Karina Hurtado, DC, and Echo Echo. So if we're not done here by 7, you guys should all go over and catch the start of that live. It'll be fantastic. And I'm really excited to watch it when we're done here. So I'm excited to do this video, and I hope you guys enjoy learning about the Amway founding families. 1 second. So I have some screens I want to talk about, and then I also have a couple videos. You can see my line of things up here. So Amway was started and is owned by the DeVosses and the Van Andels, which we'll see here. And I just want to go through this page really quickly. Amway is a family-owned business giving other families an opportunity to thrive. Family is what makes us special and relevant across multiple countries, cultures, and generations. That doesn't make Amway special because Monet is also owned by a very rich family as well. So you're not unique, Amway. Our business was built on the bond between two individuals and has blossomed into a partnership between their families, thousands of employees, and millions of Amway business owners. The founding families are committed to this business and to supporting these valuable partnerships for years to come. Today, there are more than 50 founding family members. First off, it's super weird that they're calling founders of a company the founding families. Like, we don't see Beachbody calling the Deiklers the founding family of Beachbody. It's kind of weird, and we're gonna go through like their family tree here, and it's weird. It looks like a royal line of succession for like the British throne or something. So at the very top of this family tree, it's Rich and Helen DeVos, and then Jane Betty Van Andel. So these people here are part of what they literally call G3. So these are the children of the founders. Dick and Betsy, Dan and Pamela, Doug and Maria. Doug, who has a really big role in Amway right now, and then Sherry, and then the children of Jay Van Andel and Betty Van Andel, Steve and Amy. So Steve is also really not popular, it's like really active in Amway still. Dave and Carol, and then Barb and Richard. Liv Panic says, testing, my phone is frozen. I'm sorry, Liv Panic. I hope your phone starts to work soon. Hall says, hi, everybody. Hi, Hall. We're just going through the Amway founding families today. I'm really excited. So these friends here are G2, okay? And then the grandchildren of the founders, they call themselves G3. So on the Van Andel side, you will have Madeline and TJ, all these people, and all these people are all part of G3. And then on Rich's side, you'll see Rick and Melissa, Lisa and Nate, Andrea and Michael and Ryan. So these people will be like the grandkids of the founders and also the people who married into the family. So not everyone is related to the Van Andels or the DeVosses, of course. And so we'll see more members of G3. They call themselves G3. It's like their own MLM within Amway. Like these people are G2, right? These are the top, of course. And then you have G3 down here. And Doug has a lot of kids, as you can see. Dalton looks just like Doug. They're twins. And then we'll see I don't know whose kids these are, but lots of kids in the G3 level of Amway. And so I wanted to watch this video quickly about G3 and G3's role within Amway. Note how young some of these people are. Doug says a few of them are like in their 40s, but others look to be like freaking like 20 or 25 years old. And I have an issue with that, of course, because yes, technically we're adults when we're 18, but our brains are not actually fully developed until we're 25. And so when we grow up in Amway and we're just meshed in Amway, we don't have the critical thinking skills to really analyze what's going on around us. Is everyone involved in Amway? So members of the different generations most of them are involved in some way. Some of them are involved through the board of directors, which I want to just show you guys quickly. And then G3 is involved in different ways, which we'll see a little bit here. So remember G3, which we're talking about here, is the grandkids of the founders. Hall said business-wise. Yeah, they're involved in different ways. I don't think any of them are actual Amway business owners, but you'll see that they have a role.
Who is G3? That's it's the kids. G3 are the third generation of the Van Andel and DeVos families.
Third generation Van Andel and DeVos family.
I mean, every generation is called the kids, right? And some of those kids are 40 years old now.
The G3 is more than just the grandchildren of Jay and Rich. We have spouses, people that have married in.
There are about 40 of us now.
You are the inheritors of the tradition.
Great part of having.
So G3 are the inheritors of the tradition. I think that's a great way to put it. And obviously, of course, like G2 as well, but you grow up in Amway, you grow up watching your grandparents run a massive $1 billion business and your parents being actively involved in the business. And of course, you see all of that before your brain is fully developed. And then, of course, you're going to think that Amway is the only way to really contribute positively to your community. I could talk about this for hours. Can't imagine growing up and this is the only life you know. Yes, exactly.
40 different members of the G3 is that we have different points of view, different perspectives, different interests.
Each person has to determine what they do with the tradition.
We all have different talents. We all have different interests. We all went to different schools. We have folks with medical backgrounds, with incredible business backgrounds. Some of them have legal interests. Some of them have marketing interests.
They're bringing a new energy, a new understanding of the world and reality of today.
I wonder, anyone who's been in Amway, who went to events and stuff, were the members of G3, were they like idolized and seen as celebrities? Because we saw a few of them talking on stage and people clapping and stuff. So I wonder, like, were they revered just like their grandparents and their parents, or are they kind of like just in the background? I'd love to know. And like we see here, they're doing some kind of meeting. So of course, like they grow up in Amway and then they have to be involved like in the business in some way.
This group of people that are passionate about Amway.
Both Rich and I have children who are presently involved, have been involved for a period of time.
We were able to be involved in all different ways growing up.
We were exposed to Amway from an early age, and we understood, from our father's perspective, what the business was.
The very first job I had here was washing test tubes in R&D. It was a great way to learn the business, but also was a great way to learn the people.
A lot of the work that's been done.
How interesting is that? So one of the kids of the founders, like, I don't know if he said it's his first job or like he was introduced to working within Amway through washing test tubes in one of the labs. And then from there he was the CEO, I think, from 1995 to 2018.
The last few years is creating a great framework through which we can engage as a third generation.
It could be as an employee, it could be through a leadership track where they want to be in management.
They can become product ambassadors or brand ambassadors.
Probably the most prominent one is the ambassador program, which allows individuals the opportunity to pick a particular facet of the company that they are able to.
So I don't know if you guys can see this. I can barely see it, but I just wanted to read that quick. Ambassador General, a regularly engaged representative of the company and founding families. A general ambassador level requires a broad understanding of the Amway business. In this role, you will participate in a variety of educational experiential opportunities that enable you to represent the company and founding families in a strategic and intentional way. Journey matters. You will gain an understanding of the company as a whole. You develop and execute personalized learning goals and objectives, successful completion of competency-based education, active engagement with an Amway mentor, attendance and active engagement at events, company events. So it's really unclear if they actually like get paid for this and what they actually do. It's not clear. But that's pretty interesting that they said the G3, they're involved in the company through this, being an ambassador, through just like being a staff member, being a manager, and like being on the management track. So that's pretty interesting. Hall says, I'm literally taking notes. Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear. Not a single specific, right? I wish I could see this. Ambassador focus area. Okay, no, it's just repeating it. Yeah. It's not really telling us anything. I should have thought to like do some research on this specific program. Maybe that can be a different video. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, eh?
Delve deeper into and learn about, and then in turn provide some form of return to the company.
So with more people come more aptitudes, and I think with that comes greater responsibility as well.
But at the end, all of it is focused on how they can contribute and how can they help the company be better.
I have a question. What if these people don't want to be involved in Amway and they want to be like a teacher or a lawyer? I wonder if that's allowed when you are the grandchildren of the founders of this company. So this looks like Jay. I don't think that's Rich. This looks like Jay. It's basically a business program, like an internship. Oh, cool. So yeah, maybe in another video at some point, I'll look into that and we can talk about it more because I'd like to learn more.
Partnership between the DeVos family and the Van Andel family has just always been there.
We grew up next to each other. Our homes, Dad's homes and Jay's homes were right next door. So we grew up really as one family.
Which helped create a bond between our family and the DeVos family.
We don't take the word family lightly. It has meaning and it has purpose. Amway started with two guys that were great friends, who became two guys that were family, who became two families that were like family. But then that grew to the Amway family.
We have second and third generation employees.
So the ABOs, they go on to multiple generations. Rich and I.
Ooh, Dexter's kid who looks just like him. Let's see. Dexter's kid.
We have second and third generation employees.
So the ABOs, they go on to multiple generations.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this the first time. That was Dexter Yeager's kid because he looks just like Yeager of like in that first ever Amway video I did. I think it was like 60 Minutes, 1982 or something. I'm fascinated by this very, very old, like the old Amway footage. And so, yeah, I liked seeing that. That's pretty cool. Just like the Gambino family.
Rich and I believe that it's extremely important to perpetuate the philosophies and ideas that have been built into this company. We believe that the family members can bring that into play probably better than anybody else.
Business is based on the founder's fundamentals.
We work with
Freedom, family, hope, and reward are the founder's fundamentals. And we've talked about that a little bit. Most companies have people who are part of families in them. It doesn't make Amway special to be a family-owned company, in my opinion. I think they're trying to make it seem like it's more relatable to be in a company owned by two guys in a family, but like Walmart's owned by people in a family. It's not that special.
thousands of Amway employees who are as passionate about Amway values as Rich and Jay were, as our generation is.
It's a way that you treat people and that you engage with them, that you care about them.
Everybody works.
It's a way that you treat people and show that you care about them. However, Amway doesn't care about its distributors because they know that the majority of people in their company aren't making any money and are losing money. And they know that the real money is like through selling of the like promotional motivational tools and tapes and stuff. And so that is such a bullshit thing to say, in my opinion. Except you give them money to join the mafia. That's funny.
Together and comes together and everybody's focused on the common good.
That's just a part of who we are. It's something that's always going to be there.
This is a partnership between our families and each and every Amway business owner's family.
Without them, this business ceases to exist. The reason
Obviously, dude, without them, your grandparents wouldn't have made any money and your parents would not be in the position that they're in right now, running a multi-billion-dollar company based off of the suffering of the vast majority of your 1 million, or I don't know, I think it's over 1 million Amway business owners, obviously. And I wonder if these people here who are now fully grown adults with fully developed brains, I wonder if they actually believe this, or if they have some kind of like cognitive dissonance where they know something's wrong and something's off, but they just can't really put a finger on it because they learned about Amway when they were babies. It's hard to change your way of thinking when you are raised in it.
and Amway exists today is because of the ABOs and because of the hard work that they put into their businesses and the passion that they have.
Amway does not succeed if we don't make ABOs successful in their businesses. So continue.
No, that's not true. Amway doesn't succeed if your ABOs do not pay into the business and buy products and replace every product in their home with Amway products. That's not true. I'm getting annoyed. I didn't think I'd get annoyed.
We need to think of how to extend that idea of partnership and invest in that idea of partnership is really, really important.
Absolutely, my life has been changed by meeting some of the ABOs. That's where the passion comes from.
Watch the next generation interact with people. They have the same sense of awe and wonder and respect for the distributor organization as we did.
One of my favorite things about interacting with ABOs is the passion I can see in their eyes and the way they tell their story about how this business has changed their lives. That's the most.
Sir, of course I have passion and are passionate about it because when you're in these companies, you are brainwashed and manipulated into thinking that Amway is the only answer and you cannot succeed and be happy in your life without Amway. I know most of these people are in like maybe their late 30s, right? Or like the man we just saw, maybe like mid 20s, but like you have to be able to like analyze the information that you see around you. And I wonder if their parents even tell them the true reality of the fact that no one makes any money in Amway. Does the family use only Amway products? I bet, or at least they like pretend to, because if these families don't use Amway's products, why would anyone else want to use Amway?
The fun part about this business is going to all these different countries, all these different cultures, learning from those ABOs, seeing how hard they're working.
And the more and more I go on these trips and the more and more I interact with the ABOs, the more and more I realize just how much work they put into their businesses, which is really incredible.
We have been given an incredible gift.
But as a family, of course, we've been involved directly and will continue to be involved directly, for many, many years to come.
The family isn't going anywhere.
We're owners. We continue to be active on the board.
We have to be the keepers of the flame, so to speak.
The family is here to serve the business.
The family is still so invested and so involved. And we're
Obviously, they're invested and involved because these families are millionaires or even billionaires because of the suffering of the Amway business owners. Makes me so annoyed. Or do they buy products that are actually good? Can you imagine if these families didn't actually use Amway products? That would be crazy. We're almost done this part.
excited about what's to come.
I am passionate about the Amway business.
Best thing we can do is take our expertise, different personalities, and different ways to look at the future.
Continuing to grow, continuing to evolve, continue to be engaged and involved with the company, continue to build on this incredible foundation, this incredible platform. We're able to transition between the generations, meanwhile holding true to our grandfathers, but also adapting it to our lifestyles.
They're red. We just love being a part of it.
The business will only get better from here.
Amway 60 years ago isn't the same Amway as it is today. But 60 years from now, it's going to be different than it is today as well.
This company, this business.
They were so young when they started. Let's see.
From now, it's going to be different than it is today as well.
Look how young they are. I think they were like in their 22 and 23 or something when they started. I'm pretty sure that would be Jay, and I'm pretty sure that's Rich. I'm not sure though. They were so young. They were so young when they started. And then of course their kids grow up in the business as well, and then their kids grow up in the business, and no one actually has a chance to have life experiences and learn new things before they're fully engaged and their whole life revolves around Amway.
Company, this business has made promises from the beginning, and we intend to keep those promises for generations into the future.
Be quiet, Doug. Jeez. So yeah, that's a good introduction to G3 and the Amway founding families in general. And I wanted to talk about, I can't remember, I might have already shared this part of the Doug DeVos and the Steve Van Andel information from the board of directors page. I can't remember. Someone tell me if I did. Sorry if I did, but I wanted to just talk about the two main guys who are the most public and seem to be the most involved right now. And yeah, these are the sons of the founders. So let me know if I already did this. Sorry if I did, if it's repeated. Liv Panic says, I just hope some of the kids and grandkids got out, right? I hope so too. Gee, it'd be a shame if one of them left to start an anti-MLM channel. Can you imagine? I feel like they'd be disowned by their parents though, which would be really sad, but that would be cool, right? Okay. So I feel like I might have read this. I'm sorry if I did. Doug DeVos is the co-chair of the board of directors of Amway, the world's largest direct selling company with more than $8 billion in revenue. He previously served as president of Amway for more than 16 years. He joined in 1986, so he was very young, and served in various leadership positions for Amway in Europe, the Americas, and Asia. Doug, along with his wife Maria, is the founder of Continuum Ventures, an investment company for the Doug and Maria DeVos family. And so here is all of his leadership accolades. He served in 2018, the U.S. Department of Commerce appointed DeVos to the U.S. India CEO Forum. He served as an industry leader in numerous roles, including chairman of the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations and chairman of the U.S. Direct Selling Association. He was inducted into the U.S. Direct Selling Hall of Fame and received the Direct Selling Education Foundation's Circle of Honor. Yeah, award. So beyond Amway, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's all. And he holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Purdue University, where he was the quarterback for the Purdue football team. So that's Douglas. Okay, I would smile if I was a multimillionaire. The founders cloned themselves. What do you mean by that, Mark? And also, Mark, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy you're here. It's a legal cult/scam. Exactly, right? Exactly. Okay, and then I wanted to show Steve Van Andel. No, it's totally not a scam. Red flag. Exactly. So he is the co-chair of the board of directors of Amway. He served as co-CEO of Amway from 1995 to 2018. Van Andel is the eldest son of Amway co-founder Jay Van Andel, who, with Rich DeVos, started Amway in 1959. Wow. Over the last 2 decades, Van Andel has been part of leading a strategic transformation of the company with a focus on growth through digital tools, mobile experiences, and product innovations. I meant they cloned. Okay. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. So you mean like the founders cloned themselves. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And their kids look just like them, and they're just like taking over for them. So Van Andel has been an ambassador for free enterprise and free trade interests all over the world. We know that's huge. We know that Dexter Yeager was a huge proponent for free enterprise. He served twice as chairman for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, where he remains a member of several committees and has been involved with the U.S.-China Business Council as well as the U.S.-Korea Business Council. So we can see that these two sons were pretty involved in U.S. politics. He shared his passion for economic freedom on a local level in his role as chairman of the Economic Club of Grand Rapids. He served on the board of directors for Gerald R. Ford Residential Foundation, Business Leaders for Michigan, West Michigan Policy Forum, and Metro Health Hospital. He earned a bachelor's degree in economics and business administration from Hillsdale College and a master of business administration in marketing from Miami University in Ohio. So that's Steve. We're going to do more videos with Steve and Doug. They're very interesting characters. They are successful cult leaders. These cults are evil. Yeah, Mark, I totally agree with you. And I know I've showed this before. The number of Van Andels or DeVosses on the board of directors: Steve Van Andel, Doug DeVos, Dick DeVos, Dan DeVos, Barbara Van Andel Gabby, David Van Andel, and that's all. So I can't do math, but a lot of the board of directors are like are the sons or daughters of the founders. I can't think. Jeez, I'm tired. These kids were born millionaires. Yep, you're right. Born into a very, very privileged situation. So something else I really want to talk about that I just learned about today is there's another group of families that Amway calls the founding families. And these were the people that worked with, there's a lot of different names, Jay and Rich, to develop the distributor side of Amway. Super interesting. So this is the unofficial Amway wiki. I tried hard to find some content on the three families in general, telling their story, helping Rich and Jay form the company, but I only found this for Fred and Bernice Hansen, but there's a few lines here that really talk about like the families and how they helped Rich and Jay. So I'm just going to read a little bit and then we have a video to watch. So, sponsored by Emerald Walter Bays, Fred Hansen and his wife Bernice started to work with Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel in 1950 in the Nutrilite business. In 1958, Fred Hansen worked together with DeVos, Van Andel, Jared, Joe Victor, Walter Bass, and Eleanor Titsema to found the American Way Association, which later became Amway. Until his death in 1968, he played a vital role in shaping the association that continues to exist today as the Independent Business Owner Association International. He was a member of this association's president's cabinet. And when he passed away in 1968, the diamond business transferred to his wife, Bernice. About this time, her daughter, Susan, and Skip Russ met in a seminar in California. We don't need to know that. And she went double diamond in 1970, triple diamond in 1974, and then crown the following year. Okay, great video. Keep going. Oh, awesome, Mark. Thank you. It's okay, Heather. We've been partying all day. That's good. Oh, the Clowntown stream is starting now, so I'm not going to have hurt feelings if any of you guys want to go watch that. It's going to be great. They were rich and they were with Jay and Rich before Amway. Yes. MLMs are really bad for the world. Yes, yes, yes. They prey on very, very vulnerable people, lie to people, deceive them to keep them in a system where they're just losing money. Is this on their Amway page? I need to go look for their info. So it's the unofficial Amway wiki. So you could probably just type in Fred and Bernice Hansen, the unofficial Amway wiki, and then you would be able to find this page. Yeah, I really just wanted a description of like the main families and like how they helped at the beginning, but I couldn't really find any good info. I'm coughing a lot. They got me. I'm lucky I got out. Oh, Mark, that's great. I'm so glad you got out and you're like learning about like the unethical parts of this business, and that's great to hear. Good job. Okay, so now this is the other Amway founding families, which is kind of weird. So join us to recognize and celebrate Amway's founding families, the Dutts, Hansons, and Victors. Multiple generations of the Amway family share the unique and heartfelt memories from the business. Be inspired for the future of today. So these people are obviously not like the original members of these families that we just learned about that joined in like 1950 or something. These were like the kids, I'm pretty sure. The kids of those people. Oh, oops. I didn't mean to click that button. Sorry.
When we think of 60 years in this business, it has just been such a blessing.
Wow, 60 years. I hardly even feel like I'm that old.
Before we start, these people, just like the kids and the grandkids, they were raised in Amway too. So they were kids or like young teenagers when their parents started and when their parents started to advance in rank in Amway.
Jerry and Eileen Dutt got involved with the Victors, the Hansons, the DeVosses, and the Van Andels in 1952 in the Nutrilite business. My dad was a milkman at the time, but they were friends.
Rich and Jay decided to go with the corporation, take that risk. And the Hansons and Victors and Dutts said, okay, well, we'll take over the field side. We'll go out there and make this thing happen. And they did it together.
They did it right. They set it up right from the beginning. And did they make mistakes? Yes. But the mistakes did not define them. They went and continued to find ways to make it work.
So interesting, eh? So it seems like I think the Dutts were friends with Jay and Rich, and like when they were trying to start Nutrilite, they're like, don't worry about it, you worry about the business side and then we'll take care of the distributor side. So the relatives of these individuals were the first ever distributors in Amway. How interesting, eh?
Well, the first time that I met Rich was when I was hired to work for the contractor that built all of Amway. And I was just amazed at how he would take and stop at every contractor and tell them what a great job they were doing and shake their hand. Amazing man.
I know not everyone would do that, like stop and shake everyone's hands if you're like the top person of a company, but I feel like that's just basic common decency, in my opinion. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Millions have to lose. Yes, millions have to lose for the families, the founding families, and those at the top of the distributor network to win. Yes, you're right. That's a great point. Buddy, it's a scam, smiley face. Yep.
Always encouraging us. Always.
Jay, he was the great inside guy, unflappable. Hey, Jay, your shoe's on fire. Hey, thank you.
We were rich.
Hey, Jay, your shoe's on fire. Thank you. But that's funny. Like, he's unflappable. And so, yeah, if he's unflappable, like his shoe being on fire, he's not going to care about it. But this is a good example of edification in network marketing, where we've learned months and months ago on this channel with Ray Higdon that they use a different definition. They use the definition of like holding the person up on the pedestal that you're talking about and showering them with praise and compliments, so the people watching or listening are going to really listen and engage with that person. And so they're just trying to paint a specific picture of Jay and Rich. And so we think that they're like brilliant, amazing, not just business owners, but also people as well. And I'm sure they were nice people, and I'm sure they were nice to their kids, and they were good spouses and friends and stuff. But they knew, maybe they didn't know at the time, but then they would have had to know at some point that people were losing in order for them to get rich. I don't know if they would know that when they were starting the business in 1950 whatever, but at some point they would have had to figure it out.
Jay's strongest leg. So they drove to Ohio.
Okay, let's go back a sec.
Strongest leg.
For
Rich and Jay's strongest leg.
Okay.
So they drove to Ohio to do meetings in our living room. It was a group of neighbors that came into the living room for that first meeting. That's who we start with, neighbors and relatives.
So that was
that lady's relatives, they were the strongest leg for Jay and Rich. And so of course they're going to drive over and do meetings because they want more people to join in under those individuals. So that doesn't make them a great person. It makes them like good businessmen, in my opinion. Make more of these videos. Oh yeah, I will. I'm really interested in Amway, Mark, and I've had several, I don't know how many, several Amway videos on my channel. A few with Rich, a few with Dexter, a few with Bill Britt. 90% of the money is from the tools. Yes, I've been learning about that. You're right, Mark.
part of what the founding families were all about. They saw an idea and they believed in it in spite of the fact that it was unbelievable.
So growing up, you saw the energy of the community and how well respected they were.
They always had energy.
And it was so neat to grow up around that with the kids of the families that were there, with the parents and the adults that treated me as one of theirs. It was like I had hundreds of parents.
Happy, positive people in and out of our home all the time.
I wanted to be a part of this.
We wanted to be that kind of person. One day my dad said, "Susie, come in my office a minute. You know, we really would like you involved in this business." And I thought, Dad, I'm going to do this. It's very encouraging to see the second and third generations involved.
Future generations is the security of the business. And while our sons were growing up, I always referenced the business to them as our family farm.
Jody's mom and dad were there in the beginning.
So he always referenced the business to his kids as the family farm. Makes me feel like the kids of these people didn't really have a choice and were expected to also join as distributors. And I wonder again, like, what if these children said no? If Susie said no to her dad, or if they said, "Look, I don't want to be in Amway, I want to do something else," I wonder what would have happened to like the family dynamics. And I wonder if like young adults or teenagers might have like had to like move out or like go live with their friends or something, because I do think it would, the way they're describing it, I feel like it would be a requirement. What do you guys think about that? Over 700 MLMs out there. Wouldn't there be more than that? I feel like there's probably more like over the whole world, but maybe just in the United States there's 700. I feel like I'm coughing a lot today. Sorry. We're almost done.
Jody chose to build a business, and now our children are building a business. The longevity is incredible.
Growing up in a household as a third generation was literally a dream come true. And I think what I saw as a child growing up was exactly who I wanted to be and exactly what I wanted to do.
You know, I've been running this business my entire life. And I just remember as a kid walking through our office, seeing all the word Amway over all these products. And I was taking ownership at a young age thinking, this is our business. This is our products. This is what we do.
As a third generation, the biggest blessing that I've had has been the opportunity to come up in a family that thinks different. Most people grew up in an environment to where they're constantly being told what they can't do. We grew up in an environment being told what we could do.
And so
I did not grow up in an environment being told I can't do things. Like my parents' rules was like, is it legal? Are you safe? Are you able to provide for yourself and pay your own wages, right? Or not pay your own wages, pay your own expenses. If those things were covered, they didn't care what I did. They didn't care what kind of career I went into. They just wanted me to make sure I wasn't breaking the law and that I was like taking care of myself, because obviously parents don't necessarily want to be paying all of the bills of their kids who are like 45. And so I feel like if your parents have your best interest at heart, they're not going to be sitting there and telling you that you can't be a doctor if you don't want to, if you want to be a doctor. Does that make sense? I feel like what he just said was very, very false. This is really creepy, right? I agree. It's meant to be all inspiring and nice, but I agree. It comes across really creepy. These people are really fake. Yes, Mark, I totally agree.
We get to take what they have built and continue to add value to it.
We get the chance to stand on their shoulders.
And we have a lot of work to do because we want this to go for future generations. That's what this is all about.
And what we hope,
I don't know if that's just her like tone of voice, but it sounded like she was on the verge of tears, which I hope she's not.
to do is leave a bigger, stronger legacy of the founders. It's ours to protect, utilize, and hopefully grow so that we can pass on something more like they did for us.
And so
the legacy of the founders is ours to protect and to grow and to pass on. I'm just thinking about in a normal employment context. Do you ever think like the values of my company, I have to protect and pass on those values? In my opinion, no. I just want to be a good employee. When I'm like out at events, I want to represent my company in a respectful manner, but I don't feel such a connection that I feel like I have a duty to uphold my employer's values. It's just my employer. It's not who I am. What do you think about that? You're spot on. Oh, good, Mark. Thank you. Thank you. A legacy of unethical behavior. Yeah, good job. Oh, such a good point. Yeah, what kind of legacy is Amway advancing, right? A legacy of deceit, of lying to people, of gaslighting, of mistreating people, of preying on vulnerabilities to keep people in an unethical system. Yeah, that's a great point, RK. Thank you. Lots of cult help on the tube. Steve Hassan, Rick Ross, they're really good. I know all about Steve Hassan. I don't know who Rick Ross is, so maybe I'll check him out. Thank you, Mark.
Predictor for our future is what has been accomplished in the past. And with that as a foundation, the prospects for the future are really good and really exciting.
Your legacy is that each next generation has less limits than the generation before.
They have an opportunity to create, just like his father did, just like his grandfather did.
It changes the path of the future, not only for you, but for your family. And when families change, the world changes.
So are his kids going to be required to also be in Amway? Probably. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again.
Grandfather always said, we haven't scratched.
And I still believe that's true.
This is going to be one of the biggest businesses on the planet.
They're talking about going to Mars someday, so maybe there'll be interplanetary BV. I'm not sure.
Maybe there'll be interplanetary BV. I'm not sure. We don't need Amway anywhere else. No more new markets for Amway, please, sir. Thank you.
There are people today who will get on board at year 60, who at year 100 will be saying the same kind of things that we're saying today.
But it's about just a design.
That's not true, because people getting on in year 60 are going to have a harder job than people getting on in year 1. That's not true. Like, it's harder to grow an Amway business now because everyone knows that Amway's a scam. Everyone knows that MLMs are a scam, and there are countless channels across YouTube with 90,000, with 50,000, with 1 million subscribers, all talking about multi-level marketing companies, and so it's much more common knowledge now. So that's not true. You're lying. I'd run away fast from my family. Yeah, I'd like to think that I would also have like the critical thinking skills necessary to question things, but I wonder if I grew up in this environment, if I would actually be able to like critically analyze the information that I'm seeing. I'm not sure.
Desire to help people, you need to just keep going in the same direction.
So if you're a brand new diamond, think big. You can have thousands of diamonds in your organization.
And so here I am as a
No, you can't. There's not enough people in the world, sir. Not everyone can be diamonds in Amway.
third generation, Joe Victor the third, and we have Joe Victor the fourth at home who's watching us. And we know we have a great responsibility to continue to add to that legacy. And they believe in their heart that I can do that too.
And having your fourth generation say to you, hey, when can I get a chance to build this business? Man, why you do what you do.
It's why you do what you do? You mean parenting? Should that be your main goal as a parent, to get your kids to also want to join the Amway business? Or should you be raising your kids to be good people, to contribute, to treat their spouses and their friends and their family members with respect? How is that why you do what you do, sir? That doesn't make any sense, and that makes me mad, clearly. I didn't think I'd be frustrated with this. I didn't think I would talk for over 45 minutes about this topic, but the idea of growing up in such an unethical environment and not being able to have your critical thinking skills developed before you're in that environment, and you don't know any better, you don't know what's going on, and by the time you would have the capacity to think it through, you are already so far in that I can imagine that it's really, really hard to imagine a world where it's not all Amway all the time, right? Ugh, I'm getting annoyed. Can you tell? These companies have Harvard-trained lawyers. Yep. Especially Amway, you're right. Manson had a family too. Eep. Right? Most people have like at least one or two people who are like blood relatives, and it doesn't mean that like we're all amazing, brilliant people just because we have a family. That's a great point. Mark says there are about 100 people making the money. Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. I'm really surprised and happy that 6 people wanted to watch me talk about Amway founding families for a long time, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to talk about the different generations of the Amway founding families, about the psychology aspect of growing up in MLM, about how the G3 is involved in Amway right now, and then a whole other side of the Amway founding families, which I did not know was a thing. And that's super, super interesting. And it seems like they have different levels within their own within their little group too, right? Not just the sons of the founders, but like the families of their first distributors, they have G2, G3 too, and that's really interesting. I just realized I am not centered in the screen at all. I am so sorry. Hall says, heck yeah. Live Panic says, good job, Heather. Thanks, Live Panic. I appreciate that. I'm really happy I was finally able to talk about this. That's really cool. So thank you to, thank you to Live Panic and Hall and Rich, of course, and Mark and RK for watching live and commenting. They really appreciate that. Thanks to anyone who's going to watch later or who likes or who comments. That's awesome. Thank you. Great work. I enjoyed it. See you later. Thanks from Victoria, Canada. I'm also from Canada too. Hello, Canadian friend. It's great to meet you, Mark. Thank you again, Heather. You're welcome, Rich. Thank you. So I want to go live tomorrow again at 6:30, and I want to do another Rich DeVos video because I'm fascinated by Rich DeVos. So if you're free, it'd be cool if you can watch live with me. If not, you can watch later if you want. And thank you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.